Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Beda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om. Dear devotees, so before starting the Narada Bhakti Sutras, we were refreshing our knowledge of Vedanta. So we saw what is Jivatma and what is Paramatma. Jivatma is the individual, Paramatma is the universal. So the pure consciousness reflected on the individual Karna Sharira is called Jivatma, also called Prajna, Kshetrajna, Purusha. Right. So it is the reflection of the pure consciousness on the individual body, mind complex. Right. So the three bodies. The same pure consciousness, when reflected on the universal world, on the entire universe, that is called Maya, on the entire universe, then that is called Ishvara or Paramatma. And when the Jivatma considers itself as an individual, because of the association with the three Shariras, it thinks it is a limited entity and subject to samsara. In reality, the individual, the so-called individual, the Jivatma, is not limited. It just has to turn the other way around and look at the Paramatma, look at the original consciousness, look at the Atma, which is inside, and you can find that you have been always pure consciousness only. So, the whole spiritual life is to first dissociate ourselves from this Sthula and Sukshma Sharira, the body and the mind. Then dissociate ourselves from the Karna Sharira, which is the seat of Papa, Punya, Punarjanma, free will, all that. So give up identification with that also and identify ourselves as pure consciousness. Initially, identify ourselves as pure individual consciousness and then realize ourselves as pure original consciousness, the infinite consciousness. So this is the path. And when we accept this idea of Ishvara, who is the whole, then we have a unique relationship with Ishvara. And with that relationship, it becomes easier for us to go along this spiritual path and reach the goal. The goal is to realize, to recognize our real nature as infinite, pure consciousness. Now, doing that through bhakti, through our relationship with Ishvara, becomes easier than doing it without bringing Ishvara into the picture. Now, to this effect, we have the Bhakti Shastras, and Narada Bhakti Sutra is one of the prime sutras. And it has a special significance because Sri Ramakrishna, he refers to it frequently. We will see that. Now, along this, we saw the three stages of bhakti. The first one is Kamya Bhakti, then Nishkamya Bhakti, then Jnani Bhakti. And in the Gita's terminology, the first stage is Artha and Artharthi. The second one is Jignasu. The third one is Jnani. So Krishna says, Chaturvida bhajante mam janaha sukritino arjuna artho jignasu artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. So an Artha Artharthi Bhakta, the Sakama Bhakta, for him the world is important. He accepts Ishvara, but then he seeks worldly pleasure, worldly prosperity, freedom from problems in the world. He seeks all that. And philosophically, he considers Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara as separate. And he says, I work in the world and the Lord gives fruits of action. And I offer a part of the fruits to the Lord in gratitude. And he worships the Lord to free him from afflictions and to get desirable things. So this is the first level of bhakti. The second level of bhakti is the Jignasu Bhakti, where he realizes the truth that this entire universe is a manifestation of Ishvara only. The Jagat is not different from Ishvara. Still, he holds himself as separate from Ishvara. But now there are only two entities, Jiva and Ishvara. In the previous stage, there were three entities, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. For a Jignasu, there are only two entities, Jiva and Ishvara. Jagat has been already merged with Ishvara. So now, knowing the world as a manifestation of the Lord, work itself becomes worship, right? Because every work is a transaction with Ishvara only. Every minute, he is actually transacting with Ishvara. That is the truth. And he worships the Lord not to free him from afflictions or getting desirable things, but he worships the Lord to give knowledge and strength to calmly face the ups and downs of life. Ups and downs of life will always be there. That is the nature of the world, right? Anityam, Asukam, Lokam. So the nature of the world is to have ups and downs. Now, unlike the Kamya Bhakta, who tries to get himself free from the downs and tries to get more ups, this Bhakta knows that all the ups and downs happen by the will of the Lord. It is the Lord who has blessed him with all these ups and downs of life so that he wakes up towards the spiritual truth. And to that effect, whenever he faces ups and downs of life, he worships the Lord to give the knowledge and strength to calmly face them. So when there is a problem in life, he worships the Lord saying, "Oh Lord, what lesson are you trying to teach me by this? I am not able to figure out. Please explicitly give that knowledge. What are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to tell me?" Because he knows that every calamity in life is a love letter from the Lord. It's a wake-up call. It is a love letter from the Lord to the devotee saying, enough of indulging in the world. Look at me. Come back to me. You say it's a call from the Lord. And so the person, the devotee, he worships the Lord to give him the knowledge and strength. This person is Jignasu. His worship is for purely love's sake. Right? Now, as a person progresses, eventually he realizes that he is absolutely not apart from Ishvara, and there is only Ishvara. So a Jnani is one who knows that there is only Ishvara. Nothing else exists. So for a Jignasu, There are two things, Jiva and Ishvara. Still he is holding on to his individual identity, and a Jnani gives up that identity also, and there is only Ishvara, nothing else. Knowing that the Lord is everything, including his self, he offers the doership of work to the Lord in complete surrender. He is completely gives up his free will. He realizes that there is no free will at all. Last class, we saw a few quotations from the gospel where Sri Ramakrishna talks about the absence of free will, illusoriness of free will, non-existence of free will. So that is a jnani state. So he offers the doership also to the Lord in complete surrender. And he worships the Lord without expecting anything, and just sings the glory of the Lord, seeing how beautiful the Lord is running the world. That is all that the jnani, because the jnani, once he understands it is Ishvara who is everything, he doesn't see any problems in this world. He sees that this world is a glory of the Lord. It's a leela of the Lord. So he sings the glory of the Lord. He stands in awe at the beauty of how the Lord is manifesting as this world. Now, that is the jnani state. Now, we have to start somewhere. It is okay to start here, but we have to progress. Now, there is a analogy which can help us to understand these three states. Suppose there is a 5-year-old child. Now, if you ask the 5-year-old child, do you love your papa and mama? The 5-year-old child will say, yes, I love my papa and mama. Now, if you ask the child, why do you love your papa and mama? The child will say, oh, my mother cooks all the delicious dishes for me. My father takes me to movies. He takes me to different places. And last month, they celebrated my birthday. They invited all my friends. And my father and mother, they give whatever I want. They protect me from danger. So I love my father and mother. The 5-year-old child says that. Now, the same thing if you go to a 12-year-old child, if you ask the 12-year-old child before the teenage sets in, if you ask, do you love your father and mother? The child will say, yes, yes, I love my father and mother. If you ask, why do you love your father and mother? The 12-year-old child will say, oh, my father knows everything. He can answer all the questions which I ask him. He is so skillful. Anything broken at house, he is able to fix it. My mother is so skillful. She can cook so nicely. She manages everything. She does beautiful painting. She does beautiful artwork. And, she decorates everything so nicely. And, the child would be all praises for the father and mother and say, so I love my father and mother. The child is enamored at the skill and knowledge of the parents at around 12 years. After that, teenage sets in and then they become critical and they have a different point of view. That's a different thing. But the pre-teenage, the child really is all, awe and glory for the parents. Now, consider a 50-year-old person. So when the person is 50-year-old, probably his parents are 75, 80-year-old. And if you ask the 50-year-old guy, do you love your parents? He will say, yes, I love my parents. And where are his parents? His parents would be in the bed, maybe bedridden, disease, old age, maybe dementia. They can't even remember anything. They can't do anything of themselves. Maybe someone has to help them even to walk to the bathroom. Someone has to feed them. Someone has to clean. Right? Sometimes they may not even remember their own name also. or the children's name also. So at that stage, if you ask the child who is now a grown-up person, do you love your parents? He will say, yes, I love my parents. Now, if you ask him, why do you love your parents? He'll say, because they are my parents. That's all. There is no other reason for it. Because the reasons which were there before no longer hold good. For the 5-year-old child, when you ask, why do you love your parents? She said, I love my parents because my parents give me so many things. They protect me and all that. Now, the bedridden parents who are 75, 80 years old cannot give anything to the child and cannot protect the child also. And here, the 12-year-old child said she loves her parents because the parents are so skillful and knowledgeable. Now, the 75, 80-year-old parents, they have already forgotten everything. They can't even walk to the bathroom. They can't even remember anything. So none of these reasons hold good now. But still the person loves his parents. In fact, he would love his parents more than he had loved when he was a child. This is pure love, love for love's sake. If you ask him, why do you love your parents? He'll say, I love my parents because they are my parents. No reason. Now, this is the Jnani state. So this is the Artha and Arthati state for what the 5-year-old child has love for the parents. This is the Jignasu state where what the 12-year-old child has love for the parents. And the Jnani state is the 50-year-old person loving his invalid parents in their last stage of life. Now, as a bhakta goes through the spiritual development, his love also matures like this. Right? Initially, the Artha and Artharthi Bhakta prays to the Lord because the Lord can free him from afflictions and he can give him desirable things. The Jignasu Bhakta prays to the Lord because the Lord is so full of knowledge and strength and he prays for knowledge. And the Jnani Bhakta, he doesn't care about anything. He just loves the Lord just because he is the Lord. That's it. Pure love for love's sake. So these are the 3 stages of bhakti. And so, Sri Ramakrishna, if you see the gospel in a way you can say is just a commentary of Narada Bhakti Sutras. Like in the first visit, Mahendranath Gupta, when he meets Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna gives 5 points about bhakti. How to remember God. So, Sri Ramakrishna gives 5 points which are remembered, which are glorified. There are so many talks by different senior monks, Swami Dayatmananji or Bodhasarupanji. So many people have given talks. They call it as the 5 commandments of Sri Ramakrishna or Panchashila or Sadhana Panchakam of Sri Ramakrishna. So these 5 points we need to remember. And these 5 points are nothing but a summary or the gist of Narada Bhakti Sutras. So Sri Ramakrishna defines 5 disciplines for bhakti. The first one is seek holy company, Satsanga. Satsanga is the most important discipline for spiritual life. Because when we see people who are along the path of spiritual life, and when we see monks who are explicitly wearing the geruva or white or yellow and declaring that their entire life is dedicated for spiritual life, that gives us the conviction of the truth of spiritual life, and they are beacon lights for us. So seeking holy company is very, very important because that is the only way by which we can be convinced at a subconscious level of the truth of the spiritual path. So holy company is the most important discipline. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, discriminate between permanent and transient, between real and unreal. So every time in life, discriminate between permanent and transient. So whenever we want to make a crucial decision of the choices, we need to see which one is for permanent good and which one gives only a transient benefit. This is what in the Kathopanishad it is called as Shreyas and Preyas, right? Shreyas is that which will give long-term benefit, and Preyas is something which gives us only a short-term benefit. In the Gita also, in the 18th chapter, Krishna, when he talks about different types of fruits, different types of actions and fruits, he says that which is like poison in the short term, but like nectar in the long term is Sattvika, and that which is like nectar in the short term, but poison in the long term is Rajasika, which should be avoided. So basically, whenever we look at the benefits of choice, we have to see which one gives a long-term benefit and which one gives only a short-term benefit and a long-term disadvantage. So always discriminate and choose a long-term one. The classic example is just before the Mahabharata war, Sakuni asked Duryodhana to go and seek help from Krishna. And Duryodhana said, like, he is friend of Pandavas, why should he help us? And Sakuni knew Krishna better. He said, no, he is Ishvara. Ishvara is impartial. Whoever comes for help, Ishvara will bless. Whatever you ask, he will give. You go and ask him. And Duryodhana went. And at the time, Arjuna also had come to ask for help from Krishna. And Krishna was feigning as if he was sleeping. And when Arjuna came, he came and sat at the feet of Krishna, near the feet. When Duryodhana came, he was arrogant. He came and sat near the head of Krishna, on a seat which is near the head. And when Krishna opened his eyes, because Arjuna was sitting near the feet, his eyes first fell on Arjuna. Then Krishna asked, hey Arjuna, what do you want? Then Arjuna said, I want your help in the war. And then Duryodhana said, Krishna, I am also here. Then Krishna turned back, oh, you are also here. Now comes the question, who should be given the choice first to ask for help? So Krishna said to both of them, see, both of you have come to me for help, so I will divide into two. One is, I will be alone without my army. I will not hold any weapons. I will not fight on one side. On the other side, the entire Yadava army, the Narayani Sena, which is a huge, formidable army, which is very, very powerful, which had defeated Jarasandha, which has fought Jarasandha several times, the army which was protecting Dwaraka. It's a it's known for its very powerful army, the Yadava army. So Krishna said the Yadava army on one side and me without weapons, I will not fight, on the other side. So between these two, both of you are free to choose which you want. Now, who should choose first? So Krishna said, Duryodhana said, I came first and I should be chosen. Then Krishna said, two things. One is Arjuna is younger to Duryodhana, so the younger one should be given the chance first. And second thing is, Krishna saw Arjuna first and Duryodhana later. So multiple reasons. So finally, because Arjuna is younger, it was decided that Arjuna will ask first. So now Arjuna had a choice. Nirayudapani Krishna. Krishna who will not fight the war, or the entire Yadava army. And what are they trying to achieve? They are going to fight a war. And Arjuna, without thinking even for a moment, he did not have any doubt about it. He said, Krishna, I want only you. You are what I want. And Duryodhana wanted the army, and he was hoping that Arjuna will not ask for the army. And when Arjuna asked for Krishna, Duryodhana was very happy. He said, yes, this is what I want. I want the army. And so Arjuna chose Krishna over the army, and Duryodhana chose the army over Krishna. And what happened in the war, everyone knows. So in this world, there will be a lot of times when we have to choose between God and the world, between dharma and adharma, between austerity and indulgence. For example, I'll give you another example. Suppose, like you are working, you have to send one report. Tonight, by end of the night, you have to send a report. And there is a IPL match which you want to watch. CSK versus RCB match. You want to watch the match. Now, if you watch the match, you cannot send the report on time. If you work on the report, obviously you cannot watch the match. So now the option comes between watching the match and sending the project report on time. So if you watch the match, yes, it is fun to watch, but then you will get scoldings, you may get a black mark because, or maybe the project will get delayed, some decisions might get delayed because you didn't send the report. It can create that kind of problems. Now, if you work on the report and send it on time, you would have achieved something, you would have helped someone, you would have helped take the right decisions in time. But then, like, you'll have to be satisfied by watching the highlights or the recording of the match. So this is what is between the choice between Shreyas and Preyas. Shreyas is doing the report, giving more priority to submitting the report on time, giving more priority to dharma, giving more priority to austerity, that is Shreyas. Choosing the Lord over the world. Now, that is what is this point where Kathopanishad also points out, and Gita also points out the same thing. So, choosing between permanent and transient. At every point of time in life, always choose what is permanent over what is transient. Discriminate and then choose correctly, and gradually you will improve, you will progress, and you will reach. This is the second point. Third point is chant the name of God continuously as much as possible. Constantly chant the name of God. This is the third point. And more details of this we will see next. And then do all your duties with detachment. So Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of a servant maid in a rich man's garden house. So at the time of Sri Ramakrishna, if you look at the Calcutta society, the rich people, the aristocratic people in the Calcutta society, typically they will have a house which is maybe 1 acre or maybe slightly more or less. And there will be a house, there will be a pond, there will be a lot of gardens, trees, everything in the house. And there will be an outhouse where the watchman stays. He lives there. And the watchman's wife also will be living here. So the husband will be doing all the gardening work and watchman work and all that. And the wife will be helping in the kitchen and doing all the household work. So that way, husband and wife, they live in the outhouse, within the same compound of the garden house. And usually their children, they will not bring here because Calcutta is very costly. And if the child also comes here, then they cannot serve the house. So they would have left the child in the village with their relatives. So their own children will be in the village living with their relatives. And these two people will be there, the husband and wife, in the outhouse, living in the house of the rich man and serving. And they'll be very, very loyal. And they'll take care of the entire house as if it is their own house. Now, that is the example which Sri Ramakrishna gives here. So the servant maid, the residential servant maid in the house, she takes care of everything as if it is her own house. But then in the heart of heart, she knows that this is not her house. Anytime she could be sent out, and her real house is in the village. And though she takes care of the master's children as if they are their own children, she will cajole them as my Rama, my Krishna, everything. But in the heart of heart, she knows that her own children are in the village, growing maybe with her sister or with her cousins. So every time she works in the house, she pays full attention to the house. She does all her duties, but her heart is always in the village with her children. And in those days, no cell phone, nothing, no contact also. So like only once or twice in a year, when she goes back to the village, she can see her children. Otherwise, she's just living here, right? So this is the example Sri Ramakrishna gives, how to live in your own family, in doing all your duties, but know that your real relationship is with the Ishvara alone. Even though you work in your house, with your wife, with your husband, with your children, with your parents, but then serve them all, but know that your real relationship is with Ishvara alone. Why? We saw last class, right? I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am pure consciousness. All these family relationships are through my body and mind. And I am not this body and mind. This is only a temporary relationship. My relationship with this body and mind is temporary. So obviously, my relationship with all the other paraphernalia related to this body and mind, which is my father, my mother, my husband, my wife, my children, my house, my degree, my education, my employment, everything is related to this body and mind, which is temporary. And so all these relationships are all temporary. My real nature is of the Jivatma, and my real relationship is with the Ishvara alone. Because that is my real nature, that is my permanent nature. And so my permanent relationship is only with Ishvara. My relationship with all these people, local people, is only temporary. Now, with this knowledge, do all your duties like the servant maid in the rich man's house. This is what Sri Ramakrishna says. And then the fifth point is meditate in solitude occasionally. He says, now and then you should go for a spiritual retreat and go alone, stay alone, and meditate in solitude. So these are the 5 disciplines which Sri Ramakrishna talks about. And if you look at it, the first one, seek holy company, satsanga, that is a foundation. And then the rest of the 4 can roughly, not very accurately, but roughly, approximately, mapped to the 4 yogas: Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga is also called Raja Yoga. Right? So this way, Sri Ramakrishna's the core teaching is basically an integral life combining all the 4 yogas and progressing in spiritual life. Now, let us see how to put it into practice. Now, this is a very good summary, right? All of us, devotees of Sri Ramakrishna, should memorize these 5 points, and we should be able to recall anytime. We should think deeply about these 5 points frequently and become familiar with this. So, this is the crux of Sri Ramakrishna's teaching of sadhana, right? So, how do we put it in practice? What is the practice of bhakti? So, as I told you, first is do all your duties as an offering to Ishvara for his pleasure without expecting any worldly benefit out of them. Because our real relationship is only with Ishvara. We are doing all the work in this world because the Lord has put us here. So, we will do our duty for his pleasure. But when we want anything, we will always go to Ishvara only. Right? So, this is the first one. Do all your duties as offering to Ishvara. And reduce indulging in sensory pleasure. Avoid gross entertainment. Right? So, whatever we saw as discrimination between permanent and impermanent. Right? So, enjoyment is not the goal of life. God, wisdom, knowledge is the goal of life. Sensory pleasures are distractions. So keep them at the minimum needed to sustain this body. We have to eat, we have to drink water. So there are basic minimum things which we have to do to maintain our body, to maintain basic health. Now, that is okay. But then some small amount of entertainment is okay. But go for more refined entertainment. Even when you go for entertainment, go for refined entertainment like bhajans, music, right? And even if you watch some movie, like watch something which is elevating, wholesome. Avoid gross entertainment and keep sensory pleasures at bare minimum so that you can focus all your effort and energy on spiritual life. So this is the second part. Third, as I told you, seek holy company and the company of other sadhakas. Right? Now, choose a spiritual practice. Don't change it for a few years. Now, those of you who have already got mantra diksha from a guru, the guru would have given you a spiritual practice to follow. Now, if you don't have a guru yet, if you have not taken mantra diksha yet, then there are here 2 points which you can take. Now, this is for people who have not taken a mantra from a guru. If you have taken mantra from a guru, follow that only. So, if you have not have a guru yet, then choose an Ishta Devata, whichever form of Lord which you like. If you don't have particular inclination to any particular form, you can take whichever is your family deity. So, but it is important to choose a Ishta Devata. And then a mantra or name of God related to the Ishta Devata for constant chanting. So, if your Ishta Devata is Vishnu, there are so many standard mantras. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, right? Which is the mantra which Narada gave to Dhruva, and it's also the mantra of Badri Narayana. And then you have Om Namo Narayanaya, which is the mantra which Narada gave to Prahalada. And you have other like Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram or the Maha Mantra. So there are so many mantras, or Om Namah Shivaya if it is Shiva. And Mahanarayana Upanishad gives a list of Gayatri mantras for various deities, right? So like that, depending upon your Ishta Devata, you can choose a mantra and choose a procedure for daily puja, chanting and meditation. So puja, chanting, meditation is the sequence. Puja is physical, chanting is verbal, meditation is mental. So puja can be as simple as just lighting a lamp, putting some flowers, right? So, and you have the standard uh, Panchopachara puja where you offer ganda, which is sandal paste, and then ganda, pushpa, flowers, dhupa, incense, deepa, light, and naivedya, some fruits or sweets. You can offer them, and you can do that mental puja also. Then it becomes manasa puja, or you can do it physically also. So some physical puja has to be done, which can be as simple as just lighting a lamp and putting some flowers and bowing down. And a lot of archana also is very popular, right? And then chanting, some chanting loudly. So it can be some stotra or some suktas or some shanti mantras or some Gita shlokas. Some loud chanting is the second step. And then meditation in the mind, purely it's a mental activity in the mind. So this sequence will help to meditate. So puja is physical, chanting is verbal, meditation is mental. Now, if you have a guru, the guru would have given you the procedure, the Ishtadevata mantra and procedure. So you follow that. Now, don't change by yourself. Once you take something, stick to it. Now, this is called spiritual practice. Now, Sri Ramakrishna, he gives that we have to do spiritual practice at 3 levels. Mane, Kone, Vane. Mane means in the mind. Kone means in a corner. Vane means in the forest. What does it mean? Mane means constantly remember the Lord. So we saw last class, Krishna says, Mayi Aveshita Chetasam, a mind which is fully soaked in the remembrance of the Lord. So that is the Mane. The mind, you should always think about the Lord. How can you remember the Lord always? By linking everyday activities with the remembrance of the Lord. What does it mean? Now, the moment you wake up, start chanting your mantra. Right? The moment you wake up, even before you open your eyes, even before you get out of bed, first, the moment you know you are awake, start chanting your mantra, at least 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Then you get out of bed. So, your waking should immediately start chanting the mantra. Let the mantra keep going internally and constantly keep chanting. Even as you get up, even as you start doing everyday work, continue to chant the mantra. Always, before anything enters your mouth, offer it to the Lord. Whether it is food, water, tea, coffee, doesn't matter. Anytime you eat anything, offer it to the Lord, chant your mantra at least 2-3 times, and then eat it. Because psychologically, we have a lot of primitive circuits in the brain associated with food. So whatever we associate with food, it will get deeply embedded in the subconscious mind. That is why, like they say, a family which eats together stays together. And even in the temple, always you offer naivedya. So whenever you want to have a relationship with someone, you offer food, because it gets into it. You are triggering some very primitive psychological circuits in the brain, which will help you to develop a deep relationship with the Lord. So anytime you eat anything, offer it to the Lord, then you eat it. And chant the name or mantra when doing any work that does not need your full attention. So many of the work that we do every day actually doesn't need full attention, like brushing the teeth, bathing, cutting vegetables, cooking, walking. We don't need full attention for that. So all those times, chant the mantra. So basically, never leave the mind idle. Fill all the idle thoughts with the mantra. So what they call as the DMN, default mental network, right? So basically, like your default state of the mind should be your chanting of the mantra. The default thought in your mind should be chanting the mantra. If you have seen elephants, how the mahout takes the elephant through the crowded bazaar, they'll always give something to the elephant's trunk. It might be a stick or a chain or a grass, something they will give, and it will keep on rolling that, it will keep on playing with it. Even while standing also, they will give something to the elephant's trunk. Because if they don't give anything to the elephant's trunk, it will stretch the trunk and keep pulling things on the from all sides, and it will create chaos and havoc. Our mind is like that. A mind cannot be idle. You have to give something to the mind to think. Otherwise, the mind will think all kinds of rubbish. So, always give the mind your mantra and let the mind keep chanting the mantra continuously whenever it is not fully engaged. If you want to read something, if you are listening to a lecture, obviously you have to pay full attention to the lecture or to what you read. But or when you're talking to someone, you need to pay full attention. But then when you are doing a work that doesn't need full attention, then keep chanting your mantra. And before going to sleep, chant your mantra. Whatever state you are going to sleep, doesn't matter. The moment you decide, okay, fine, enough, I'm going to sleep, you start chanting your mantra and drift into your sleep while chanting your mantra only. Now, this is required. This is called mane in the mind. Constantly chant your mantra mentally, right? Now, to do this, this is what Krishna calls as Mayi Aveshita Chetasam. To do this, twice a day, do your spiritual practice at a corner of your house. Kone. Kone means in the corner. So in your house, you have a dedicated place for spiritual practice. And at the two Sandhya times, when night turns into morning and when morning turns into night. Typically like 5:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the evening, right? So if that is not possible, then at least before breakfast and before dinner, do your spiritual practice. Spiritual practice is what? As your guru had told, or what you have picked up till you get a guru. Ishta Devata, mantra, puja, chanting, meditation, right? So this is the spiritual practice. So twice a day, sit and do your spiritual practice. No spiritual practice, no breakfast. No spiritual practice, no dinner, right? So you tie it up to breakfast and dinner, then it is hard to miss it, right? So twice a day, you have to sit and do. Yukta asita mat paraha, Krishna says. Asita means sit. You have to sit and do, right? You cannot say, oh, no, I will just walking meditation, I will do. Walking meditation is here, mane. But kone, you have to do twice a day, sit in one place and do your spiritual practice. Maybe even 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but you have to sit and do. Then Vane. Vane is take off on spiritual retreat occasionally. So every 1 or 2 months, take 1 or 2 days off for full-time spiritual sadhana. And every year, take 1 or 2 weeks off for full-time spiritual sadhana. This is called Vane. So lot of our ashrams, they conduct spiritual retreats once every month for this reason. So that you can take a full day off or at least a half a day off and spend time in japa, meditation, spiritual discourses, all that. So it is important, and Sri Ramakrishna has said this is important, and even Gita also says, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam Aratir Jana Samsadi, Krishna says, right? So, Aratir Jana Samsati, apart, away from the crowded places, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. In a isolated place, sit and do meditation, your spiritual practice. So, every 1 or 2 months, take 1 or 2 days off for full-time spiritual sadhana, and every year go for a spiritual retreat. 1 or 2 weeks you spend. You can spend go to some holy place, and you can spend 1 or 2 weeks for full-time spiritual sadhana. If you do this, this will give a big boost, and this will give a daily boost so that you can constantly remember the Lord. This whole thing put together is what is called as Bhakti Yoga. Right? So the summary is what we saw as the 5 points which Sri Ramakrishna told. And this is the way of implementing Bhakti Yoga. So coming to Narada, in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna talks about Narada in several places. There are several stories of Narada he talks about. And he says some are born perfect, as for example, Narada and Sukadeva. They are called Nitya Siddha, eternally perfect. So he says Narada, Sukadeva, they're all Nitya Siddhas. Like Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara, right? So they're all Nitya Siddhas, right? After attaining knowledge of Brahman, they kept the servant ego and ego of devotion. They are like big steamships which not only cross the ocean themselves, but carry many passengers to the other shore. So all these things actually you will see as we go, they're all quotations from Narada Bhakti Sutra, right? So whatever Sri Ramakrishna tells in the gospel, in lot of places, as we see, we will see how he actually constantly refers back to Narada Bhakti Sutra only, though he doesn't mention it. So this is what he tells about Narada. And about Naradiya Bhakti, right? The Bhakti according to Narada, again quotations from Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He says, for the Kaliyuga, the path of devotion described by Narada is best. Where can people find time now to perform their duties according to the scriptural injunctions? You may ask people to practice scriptural rites and rituals, but when prescribing the rituals, remove the head and tail. I tell people not to bother about the elaborate rituals of the Sandhya as enjoined in the scriptures. I say that it will be enough for them to repeat the Gayatri alone. So basically, like the Vedic rituals are very elaborate and need lot of ingredients, which is very difficult to procure in these days. So what Sri Ramakrishna says is, the essence of Sandhya Vandana, for example, is the Gayatri. So you spend more time chanting the Gayatri mantra, and that is enough. So that is what he says, removing the head and tail. Like for a fish, like you have the head, you have the tail, and you have the middle portion, which is the actual flesh. So either remove the head and tail and take the essence of it. What is most important, that you take, that is enough. So that is what he says. According to Narada, the devotee should sing the name and glories of God. The path of karma is not the right one for Kaliyuga. Bhakti Yoga is the right path. So here path of karma is Vaidika karma, the path of doing Vedic rituals. And he says the path of karma is not the right one for Kaliyuga. Bhakti Yoga is the right path. And what is Bhakti Yoga? Singing singing the names and glories of the Lord, right? And to sing the name of the Lord, you don't need anything, right? Like if you take, for example, just Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Now, it is so small, you don't need to put effort to remember it. Unlike, if you want to chant Vishnu Sahasranama, you have to memorize the entire Vishnu Sahasranama, you have to remember the entire Vishnu Sahasranama. But to sing just the name of the Lord, you don't need that. That is why Even the Vishnu Sahasranama, it says Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Right? Just chanting the name of Rama will give the benefit of chanting the entire Vishnu Sahasranama. So, singing the name of the Lord, you don't need to remember anything. And just to do chanting of the name of the Lord, you don't need to know music also. If you want to sing big bhajans and all, you need to know music, you need to be able to sing. Now, just to chant the name of the Lord, you don't even need to know all those. So, in all ways, chanting the name of the Lord is the easiest and the most potential one. And that is the way of Narada. And do your duties in the world as long as you need them to reap the fruit of the actions of your past lives. But you must develop love for Lord and be passionately attached to Him. The singing of the name and glories of God destroys the effect of past action. Right? So basically, like, why do you do your duties in the world? To clear your prarabdha. We all have a lot of karma of the past life. So prarabdha will give us various duties in the world. If we try to avoid the duties, our prarabdha will not get quenched. So we have to do our duties so that our prarabdha gets cleared. And by singing the name and glories of the Lord, our prarabdha will become weak. So that way we will not be affected too much by even our prarabdha karma. Right? Holy Mother says, by chanting the name of the Lord, your karma will get reduced to a large extent, she says. If you are supposed to lose one leg because of prarabdha, by chanting the name of the Lord, it might just become a thorn prick. To that extent, it might become reduced. So, by developing love for the Lord and singing the name of the Lord, past karma also can be countered. Then he says, you don't have to perform duties all your life. As you develop unalloyed love and longing for God, your duties become fewer and fewer. After the realization of God, they completely drop away. Right? So he gives the example of the pregnant daughter-in-law in the house. Now, when the daughter-in-law comes to the house, she has got a lot of duties to perform in the house. And then, by the grace of the Lord, she becomes pregnant. And the moment she becomes pregnant, then the family members reduce the work allotted to her. And as the pregnancy keeps progressing from 3rd month to 6th month to 7th month, the duties become lesser and lesser, becomes fewer and fewer. Then she delivers the baby, realization of God. And once the baby is delivered, now her full time is only to take care of the baby. She is absolved of all other duties in the house. She doesn't need to do any duty in the house. People will take care of it. She has to spend her entire energy taking care of the baby. That is what is expected of the new mother, right? So he gives that example for this. So this is the Naradiya Bhakti. So what does it basically say? Chant the name of the Lord, do your duties in the world, and keeping your mind on the Lord. And focus on the Lord, and doing your duties in the world is only to just clear away your karma. And that also you do it as an offering to the Lord. This is exactly what Krishna tells in the 12th chapter, 6th and 7th shlokas, which we saw. Yetu sarvani karmani mayi sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. Right? So do all your actions for me as an offering to me and meditate upon me. This is exactly what Narada Bhakti Sutra says. And these 2 lines of the 6th shloka of the 12th chapter is what Swami Vivekananda also codified and put it as the motto of Ramakrishna mission, Atmano Mokshartham Jagat Hitayacha. So, Yetu Sarvani Karmani Mayi Sanyasya Matparaha is Jagat Hitayacha. And the second line is Atmano Mokshartham. So, basically, do Karma Yoga and Dhyana Yoga along with Bhakti. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Sahita Karma Yoga, Bhakti Sahita Dhyana Yoga. This is the way of Narada Bhakti. Yeah. Okay. Any questions, anyone?
Sri Ramakrishna.
Jai Ramakrishna.
Did Narada this advice only to chant the name of the Lord, always do your duty in the world? Only 2 or 3?
Only 2. That's the 5 points which we saw, right? Which Sri Ramakrishna says, that is basically essence of Narada Bhakti Sutra.
Okay.
Resort to
third
holy.
Third only also you said that pregnant daughter-in-law.
That is basically your duty will automatically reduce as you progress in spiritual life.
Oh, because of that consequences.
Yes. As you progress in spiritual life, your worldly duties will automatically reduce.
Oh, that will be the result.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So the 5 points of Sri Ramakrishna, that is what you need to remember. That is the essence of Narada Bhakti Sutra.
Okay. 5 points that later it was said only 3 points: mana, kona, and vana.
No, that is on how to remember the Lord always. So 5 points we saw, no? The first is satsanga, then discriminate always between real and unreal. Then chant the name of the Lord always. Right? And then occasionally go and do spiritual practice in solitude. And do all your duties like the servant maid in a rich man's house. So that 5 points is the essence.
Thank you. Jai Ramakrishna.
Jai Ramakrishna. Any other questions? Okay. So if there are no more questions, then we will chant.
Namaste, sir. One question, sir. Sir, if I am, you told anything which I must offer to God, and then I must eat. Whatever goes into your mouth, you should offer it. Sir, if I am using the previous days
Okay, she has gone on mute, but I understood the question. See, if it is okay, whatever, even if it is previous day's food, no problem. Don't offer in Naivedya in the shrine previous day's food, but for whatever you are putting it into your own mouth, always first offer to the Lord and then put it in your mouth.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Hari Om Gokulmuthu ji.
Hari Om.
Actually, I have one question to ask. After taking a mantra diksha, I mean, I'm practicing from last 2 years continuously. But in case some days, like due to traveling or maybe due to health issue, if I skip it, but my guru has told me to not to skip a single day. That I should be doing it, but due to health issue or maybe unable to sit for due to traveling, I couldn't sit for that particular time and do it. So in that case, I have a lot of guilt that I'm not doing it. But even though after many days of practicing, now it's become a manasika japa, what you have told. Now I feel that all the time that doing a nama japa, I feel that that guilt is also not there. But this is a kind of a confusion mind I'm having. And at the same time, this is a little of confusion statement for me that what to do. Yeah.
So see, your Manasa Japa, which you keep chanting always, that gains strength from the 2 times you sit in the morning and evening and do Japa. That will give the impetus, the force.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you, along with your manasa japa, which you do 24 hours, you have
Okay.
to sit twice a day and you have to do japa. Even if it is
Okay.
5 minutes, you have to do.
Mm.
Now you
Okay.
said like,
Okay.
okay, like you not feeling well and traveling and all. Now,
Yeah.
that is why I told
Okay.
you, no
Okay.
japa, no breakfast. No japa, no
Okay.
dinner.
Okay.
Do you have your breakfast and dinner when you are not feeling well?
No, I will definitely have it. Yeah.
Then you can really do japa also.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
So tie it up to your breakfast and dinner so that you don't miss it.
okay. Okay.
Okay. If you
Yeah.
have time to do, if you have time to eat breakfast, you have time to do japa. If you have
Okay.
time to eat dinner, you have time to do japa. You cannot say, I don't have time.
Gokulmuthu ji, one more thing
Hmm.
is like, minimum of like, if I, I'm practicing the Srividya, should not be,
Yeah.
in the sense,
So,
in that there is a particular of this much mala you should be doing it. So in that case, what happens? Some days I'm unable to do that, that many japas, but at minimum of 108 I will be doing it, and but I'm doing it for for sure, but not that I'm unable to reach that much, that what minimum has to be done, like minimum 300 ganapati, that way.
doesn't matter. You
Doesn't
ask,
matter.
see, you ask your guru,
Hmm.
what is the minimum to be done when I am busy with so many things.
Okay.
So
Okay.
let him tell you what is the minimum.
Okay.
You don't need to decide by yourself.
Okay.
So you ask your guru, like, most of the days I'm able to do this much, and some days I'm very busy. Please tell me what is the minimum that I need to do, and let him decide for you. You don't decide.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Jai Ramakrishna.